Dina Ori.
Here.
Norm Sales. Ed Zosky. Linda Young.
Here.
Mike Kelly.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay. Could I get a motion to approve the minutes from last month's meeting?
I want to make an emotion, but we need to make a correction.
Okay.
Deliberations case 19B22. Motion was to deny approval of the variance instead of recommend approval. So we need one word change.
B22?
Other than that, I recommend approval of the minutes.
Denied.
We have a second.
Here, so.
Second, somebody?
I'll second it.
Second it.
Or it can be Norm. Norm can second
Okay.
it.
Second by Norm Sales. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes.
Sorry, Judge, I can't believe.
We'll make that correction to the minutes.
Good catch there, Dino. Okay. Tonight's first case, case 19-SU-23, petition of Kevin Wagner of Kev's Cans Incorporated for a special use to allow for the outdoor storage of items associated with a business at 4200 East Washington Street, PIN number 010125210014 and 010125210011. Anyone from Kev's Cans here? Could you step up there to the microphone? It's been brought to our attention by Mr. Hill that you're not required to give your name, address. If you choose to, that's okay. It kind of helps us. But I'm going to leave it up to you. Would you like to give your name and address?
Sure. Kevin Wagner from Kev's Cans at 1501 West Front Street in Roanoke, Illinois.
Okay. Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
I do.
Okay. Can you tell us what you'd like to do there, sir?
What I'm doing with this, we rented this property here, and I unload my dumpsters at the transfer station, which is right down the road from there, and then we'll take them back there and put empty ones there until we need them again, hopefully in a very short period of time. Sometimes, we don't have any there, hopefully not too much of anything, but for me, it's convenience. It's close for me to get down here, and they're able, I can get to going to Peoria, East Peoria, Morton, Washington, wherever I need to go. So it's just kind of a holding station for me, basically.
Okay. And where did you say the other location was? Where you take them from?
We'll bring them from wherever.
Oh,
We'll
from
take
wherever
them-
it
yeah.
needs. Okay.
Like your house, we'll take
Okay.
it to your house, pick it up, take it down to the transfer station there, dump it there, and then we'll go back there and set it there
Okay.
until it's needed again.
Okay. All right. Mr. Kelly, do you have any questions?
Yes, sir. First of all, in your drawing that you provided for us in our paperwork, you indicate 20 dumpsters parked 2 feet apart in the area, and I'm assuming that the area that you have leased or rented is from the jet out of the building, the corner there by where Sluggers comes out, is indicated in your picture here where you show some dumpsters sitting there, so the gray part of the building, and then you're going down as far as where the fire hydrant protection posts are, is that correct, that area?
That's correct.
Okay. So within that, on your drawing, you show like 4 dumpsters out in rows of 5 and then 2. Now, I know that your dumpsters vary in size. What is the longest size dumpster?
14 feet,
14 feet, the longest. Okay, and the shortest is what?
9 feet.
9 feet. Okay, and roughly what is the length of your truck?
About 20 feet probably.
Okay,
25 feet
20,
maybe.
say 25 feet.
25
because
feet,
you've got
yeah.
a tandem axle truck, I know, with
Single axle truck.
single axle.
Yes.
Okay, all right. In your picture, it indicates, just as I counted the rows across, that it appears as though you have lined up 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rows right now. It shows a picture of 4 orange ones You got one alongside, you got two, looks like blue ones, and then a blue and an orange, and then a green, and then, on across, and a small one down at the other end. So you've got like 9 rows, and I'm just, wondering, this was probably just a hand sketch and you didn't figure it out. So I don't know what that distance is across there, but I figure the bins are probably about 8 feet wide.
Correct.
All right, so.
Some are
so-
6 feet wide, so they're a little bit less room width-wise.
Right, but even at that, so you've got probably about roughly 85, 90 feet from, say, the corner of the building up to where the fire hydrants is, the usable space, in other words.
Possibly, yes, correct.
Okay. So with that being said, so I'm going to say 80, say 90 usable space. A couple things. I think that this will work ideally there, but my one concern is, or two concerns. One is the visual for people coming down the road, so they're seeing the dumpsters sitting there. So I'm wondering if you're willing to be applicable to putting up a fence, somewhat of a 6-foot-high barrier fence on a straight line basis, out of ways from the dumpsters and where your truck needs to be as far as backing the dumpsters in to be able to set them down. And I'm not for sure exactly where that line would be, but I'm going to say somewhere in the gravel line before you get to the dirt out there, because I measured roughly 40, 45 feet roughly in that gravel line to go out to the edge of the dirt, and I don't know if you're going to encompass into the farm ground and cut into that. So, and keeping that in mind, just to bring it back a ways, just a straight line basis, so it'd be probably about 90 feet of fence. And with that, it would have to be a ribbon or some type of screening or whatever, so that it's not just open cell. And then it's also indicated that recommendation there would be some landscaping, and what I was thinking or suggesting would be to have some landscaping maybe along the bottom of your fence so that it kind of spruces it up a little bit. And then as an extra caveat, you could, depending on what the signage size is, because I didn't know if you're going to put a sign out there.
No sign.
But you could put Kev's Can on the side of the fence, which would be a visual point to know that there's where you are. If somebody is looking for you in terms of, and I know you advertise, but because you're relocating and everything, at least they know where to come to find out. Because are you going to have an office in the?
No,
You're
this
just
is
basically
only
keeping them there.
for storage. Yeah, short-term storage. And the plan is not to have them there very long, because if they're sitting there, they're not making me any money.
Okay,
But the other thing is, sitting there, I have gotten a lot of business from people seeing them. They drive by and they pull in, they get the number off the dumpster, and they're calling me right away and say, hey, I'm down here, I see this, can I get one? So, and that's been very good to me for that. And we have discussed the screenage, and we thought about coming back from the farm ground, 20 feet, and putting a bunch of evergreens or techniques or something in there to hide it if that's what it came down to. Instead of the fence, maybe we could just put evergreens in there.
okay.
That was a
would grow
possibility.
tall. How tall? How tall would they grow to?
Well, I've got some at home that are about 12 feet, but, we'd probably start off whatever they got right now, if we can get some at 4 feet and start to grow from there. So,
Of course, you got call landscaping right here incorporated
yeah,
into the building.
I do a lot with them, and they have been in contact with me, and I've been with them to discussing this, if this would come to a question or not, so, yeah.
Well, I don't know what the rest of the board feels, and they'll express their opinions, but, I think that if you're going to have a long-term lease and they're going to be sitting there, I can see the advantage to being able to have them there so that people see them and get the number off of them, and I see that advantage. And that's why I was suggesting even the Kev's Cans on the side of the fence, so at least
Sure.
you advertise that part. So I'm with you there. But I think that either in the suggestion of like the evergreens or something that you're suggesting, or a screen fence of some type, at least 6 foot high, because even from a distance driving down the road, you'll still be able to see the cans to somewhat the extent until you get up a little bit closer.
Correct.
So that's my only things, and I assume that you're going to be using them, you're going to be renting that space for a long term, and
I hope so. I hope I'm around for a long time yet, so
Okay.
yeah.
okay. So then you would be doing the landscaping at your expense, or work that out with the landowner and
correct.
the building owner too?
Working out with Coolscape, so it's pretty much whatever is decided, I will be a part of it and work with Coolscapes because they're right there, so.
Right.
Correct.
Okay. And when did you move the dumpsters in?
About a year ago.
So they've been there for a year?
Yep. We was not aware of anything, and then I talked to Glenn the other, I don't know, it's been a couple months ago now, that we weren't even aware of this until somebody stopped by and said, hey, like, we didn't know. So we had thought we had all of our bases covered
Okay.
until that point, so.
And where were you before?
We basically didn't have any there. We would transport them back to Roanoke and then come back down here.
So you're
And-
based out of Roanoke?
Correct.
I see. Okay.
The landowners are the people that own the building I've known for years, and I contacted them about renting space there, and they're like, yeah, go ahead. So that's how the whole thing got started.
I see.
So, and I still, to this day, know them very well.
Okay.
So-
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
You bet.
Belinda?
Yes, I agree with Mr. Kelly that there needs to be a fence or something, and like he said, just reiterate the fact that you could always put a sign up there. I think as far as the visual coming down the road, that's needed. Also, what, is it just everything that is put into them dumpsters? I know people rent them and you don't really, do you say what goes in the dumpsters? I mean, it's not garbage, right? Correct? Or
They
it
can
could
put
be.
garbage in there. Anything that can go in
Yeah,
the landfill
that's
can
what
go
I
in there.
thought.
But
Yeah.
they're not, they're loaded. Those are empties. We don't.
Right, I
Yeah.
understand that, yeah. Okay, that's all I have.
Ed?
No, I'm pretty satisfied with everything here. Thank you.
Mr. Sales?
No additional questions.
Dino?
If there's garbage in the dumpsters, are they cleaned up after they're dumped? Is that it, or?
After we dump them, we usually get them scraped out, we clean them out there, so there's very minimal, like in the wintertime, there might be a little bit of frozen material in there, but most generally, they're cleaned.
I noticed the exits from Sluggers is right next to where the row of dumpsters is. There's a couple doors there. Is that going to create any odor or anything for them?
No.
Just a visual handicap?
Yeah, I don't want anything smelly there, so if it's smelly, we don't want it there, so it's, if we know something like that comes to, we leave it out, and then it comes home that night, so we can get it out of there.
Thank you.
And I have no further questions. You can be seated.
Thank you.
Anyone else here to speak for or against the Kev's cans? Okay, we'll move on to the next one, which is case 19-SU-24, petition for Lawrence Vaughn for a special use to allow for the placement of an accessory structure in the front yard on property located at 225 Edgewood Drive, PIN number 010127311005. Okay. Same thing I told the other gentleman, you're not required to give your name, but I'm assuming you're Mr. Vaughn.
Right, Lawrence Vaughn, 225 Edgewood Drive.
Okay, can I swear you in? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay. Tell us what you want to do there, sir.
Pardon?
Tell us what you want to do there.
I'm not sure. I didn't quite understand.
He's
With
saying,
the
tell us
with
what
the
you want to do.
accessory
Oh, okay.
structure.
I want to add a 10 by 12 storage building. Our existing house doesn't have much storage in it, and I have, your usual snow blower, lawnmower, table saw, bunch of tools, and I need more room.
Okay. Mr. Kelly,
It basically will look like the addition we built, we added to the 225. It'll be vertical siding, has a sloped roof that kind of matches what the existing house was.
Okay, and so it's be similar material and everything as the existing storage building that you have there now?
No, not the storage building, but the addition we built.
Your house,
Right.
okay.
Hey,
So,
Mike?
And that's a brown stick?
Mike?
No, if you
Your
don't mind,
microphone
if you, I can,
A brown,
if you don't mind. It'll be more like the addition.
the addition, the gray, okay. That's what I was wondering about, because I know the way you have it drawn, the existing building is like the Quonset hut.
Yeah,
roof
right,
and
it's just a
everything.
standard storage building you get from, they had practically got, we bought the property in 2014 and moved in about a year and a half later, so that storage building was there when we bought the property.
Was already there,
Yeah,
okay. And the new one, 10 by 12, is a little bit larger than the one that's
right, yeah,
existing
it's an
there
8 by
now.
10, yeah.
Okay. So it's going to have a pitched roof on it then, because like your roof is a slope roof on your addition? And is it
Right.
It's gonna have a pitched roof.
We have the gray vertical siding on it that'll be exposed yet.
Gray vertical siding?
Yeah.
Okay, and then just one door or whatever
Right,
facing like the
yeah,
front
right.
yard?
Right, and then there's some windows in a high section of the,
Windows also?
yeah.
Okay. As far as the foundation, is it just going to be on a platform foundation?
No, it'll be on some 6 by 6 posts.
6 by 6 posts?
Right,
Okay. All right. That's all I have, sir. Thank you.
okay.
Belinda?
I have no questions.
Ed?
I don't have any questions either.
Norm?
No questions.
I'm okay.
And I'm okay.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else here to speak for or against?
I'm here, but I'm for them.
Are you? Well, all right. I think that's all we need to know. Okay. I think we're going to go on to the deliberations on these two, so these folks don't have to sit here and wait while we go through the last item. Okay? So let's go to the Kev's cans. Everybody got their sheet? Okay. First one, will the establishment, maintenance, and operation of the proposed special use permit be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, morals, comfort, or general welfare? No. Will the proposed special use permit be injurious to the use or enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for uses permitted in the district? No. Will the proposed special use permit diminish or impair property values within the surrounding neighborhood?
No.
No. Will the establishment of the proposed special use permit impede the orderly development or improvement of surrounding property for uses permitted in the subject zoning district?
No.
No. Or have adequate utilities, access, roads, drainage, or other necessary facilities to be or have been provided?
Yes.
Or have adequate measures to be or have been taken to provide ingress and egress from the site, minimizing traffic congestion and hazards on public streets?
Yes.
Yes. And last, will the proposed special use permit conform to all other applicable regulations of the zoning district?
Yes.
Okay, would someone like to make a motion?
Mr. Chairman, based upon our deliberation, I would make a motion to approve the request for the special use with the following suggestions or parameters in terms of establishing the special use, that either a fence, or if it can be accomplished by putting evergreens across, I'd say, a distance of 90 feet, which is about the length from side to side of where the storage dumpsters are going to be stored within that vicinity, that be placed as far as to take care of the landscaping and/or to help block off some of the visual view of the units just sitting out there.
I'll second it.
Pardon me?
I'll second the motion.
Anyone else have anything to add to it, or?
The maximum number, did you want to do anything with that, Mike?
Well, as far as the number of the bushes, on that part, I'm not for sure. I'm just saying that as long as it covers within a distance of 90 feet and, you know, how much they spread apart, so.
I think he's talking maximum number of dumpsters, right?
Oh, maximum number of dumpsters, well,
You
Well,
had indicated 20, but there's 22 drawn on the,
yeah, there's 20
Map.
drawn on the thing, but, you know, I counted more than that on the picture. So I don't know, what is the maximum?
Didn't he ask for 20?
I asked for 20. Glenn said,
Yeah.
you know, don't go ahead and ask for 30, you know. He said basically, ask for more than what you think you're gonna have there. I don't know, at this point, you know, you asked me how many I'm doing for sure, I don't know. I would say if we can go up to 30, fine, but I don't think I'll ever have that many there.
Well, how about with a maximum no more than 30? Is that reasonable? What's the rest of the board
well,
feel?
how much ground does 30 take
Space you
up?
got?
See,
Again, it depends on the size. My small ones don't take up much room. I can pack a lot of the small ones in there, but
give me your honest number. What do you think you need?
30. If we go 30,
Would they keep 30 on concrete?
Okay, so I'd recommend no more than 30
But-
dumpsters be on
they
the
have-
site at any one time.
But they have to all be on concrete.
And they have to all be on the concrete, that's correct.
it will all be on concrete.
Now, will that encroach on the doors for, okay. Okay, is everybody comfortable with 30?
Yes.
Falls on the
Yeah.
concrete,
Okay. Right.
Can staff get a little more feedback on landscaping placement? You know, we're talking about an either-or, but if you're talking arborvitae, it's different than, you know, talking about an Alberta spruce. You know, what is going to be the requirement
Well, I
here?
don't
90
know.
feet of evergreens is a lot of evergreens.
Techni, arborvitae, something like that. I mean, we'll look at the fence a little bit, put a little fence and maybe some of that in there, so.
You want to incorporate the two? Some fence, some,
We could see, I can come up with something and bring it back to you. So,
Well, how about this? Would, say, a 3 or 4 foot high fence with some bushes
Oh, I'm
in front of
sorry.
it? A 3 or 4 foot high fence with some bushes in front of it that in time will grow up a little higher. That would kind of take the purpose of both, basically even protecting the bushes out there, I guess is what I'm saying. Because it's basically out in the gravel on a straight line basis, and we don't want to restrict his movement as far as the truck coming in and out on either running it back at an L or towards the building. So my thought was, if it's on a straight line basis, parallel with the building out at you know.
so what if half of it were fence and half of it were? Is that,
we could check into that. I mean, hey, tell me what you like and
Well, what I'm saying is put the fence with the bushes like in front of it so that
Oh.
it kind of helps protect the fence, helps protect the
Okay.
bushes too. It's a visible type thing, even for snow removal in the wintertime, you know.
The other thing I want to watch out for, because sluggers, they use a lot of that gravel area there. There's times they get a lot of cars there. We don't want to block too much of that, but I think if we put it out far enough, we'll be all right.
Well, again, your distance from like the jut out of sluggers down to the balusters around the fire hydrant, that's 80 or 90 feet, somewhere in that distance, and that's all I'm suggesting as far as the length
Okay.
of what that would have to cover. And as far as figuring out the distance from, say, the building or from the edge of the concrete where the last dumpster is back by the walk, and then out of the distance that give you enough room to stack them out in front of, if they're 14 foot long, the longest one you have, so that's 28, 56 feet, say 60 feet out, and then you gotta have enough room for your truck, so there's another 80, so say 100 feet out or something like that. It's still gonna fall probably within that gravel line.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're going to, well, we talked about, like I said, bring it back 10 feet from the farm, and that would give us plenty of room there.
Well,
so.
and I didn't measure it off with a tape, but that could be done easily enough and determine where that is to get it away from the dirt line.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
so could we set it up to him bring you a plan and you guys approve, or?
Would that help you, Ty?
Is that okay?
And what I suggested
So
there?
you put together what you think would work for you, bring it to Ty, and he can say yes or no.
And then we
And I can also share it with the board if you'd like. We can email it to everybody and get your comments. If you don't have any comments,
Yeah.
that's fine, but
Is that okay?
get your feedback.
Yeah,
All right.
that's great.
Take a
Sounds
vote.
good.
Roll call vote. Jim Weber.
Yes.
Dino Ori.
Yes.
Norm Sales.
Yes.
Ed Zosky. Belinda Young.
Yes.
Mike Kelly.
Yes.
Okay.
All voting in favor. And then I'll go to city council next Tuesday night.
Next Tuesday?
Yeah. Same spot at 6 o'clock.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you. If you don't have anything else.
Okay, is everybody ready for the next one? All right. This is case number 19 SU 24 for Lawrence Vaughn at 225 Edgewood Drive. Will the establishment, maintenance, and operation of the proposed special use permit be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, morals, comfort, or general welfare?
No.
No. Will the proposed special use permit be injurious to the use or enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for uses permitted in the district? No. Will the proposed special use permit diminish or impair property values within the surrounding neighborhood?
No.
No. Will the establishment of the proposed special use permit impede the orderly development or improvement of surrounding property for uses permitted in the subject zoning district? No.
No.
Or have adequate utilities, access roads, drainage, and/or other necessary facilities to be or have been provided?
Yes.
Yes. Or have adequate measures to be or have been taken to provide ingress and egress from the site, minimizing traffic congestion and hazards on public streets?
Yes.
Yes. And last, will the proposed special use permit conform to all other applicable regulations of the zoning district?
Yes.
Yes. Could we get a motion for that one?
I can make that motion that we recommend the council approval of the special use as requested.
I'll second that. Yep,
Jim Weber.
yes.
Dino Ori.
Yes.
Norm Sales. Ed Zosky. Belinda Young.
Yes.
Mike Kelly.
Yes.
All
Okay,
voting in favor.
thank you. Okay,
Sir, would you like this back? And you can have your drawing back if you want. This one. Okay. Thank you.
yeah, Ty just told him.
Mark, you don't have one left.
Okay. Excuse me. And last but not least, case 19-A-25, petition of the City of East Peoria for a text amendment to amend Title V, Chapter 2, Section 3, Title V, Chapter 9, Section 4, and Title V, Chapter 10, Section 1 of the East Peoria City Code to define and permit adult-use cannabis facilities as a special use, conditional use. Has everybody read through that? Okay. Okay,
As much as possible.
what's that?
I said as much as possible.
It is a lengthy read. Mr. Kelly, do you have any questions?
I really don't, because obviously it's so new, and nothing really pointed right out to me that I could see wrong, and because this is all new, I think that, and I'm sure it's already been looked over by legal counsel and put together as well as possible, so no, I don't.
Mr. Chairman, if I might offer a
Sure.
few comments just to give some context. So this is for, and for those that are watching, for adult use cannabis. And I think, as all of us know here, that the state, there's a state law that's been signed that is going to go into effect January 1st, 2020. The tax component went before council for its first reading last Tuesday night, and that is for a 3% tax to be imposed on these uses should they be approved. The thought behind that is this is the zoning piece, and then there's also some other components that come with it, some police regulations that are going to come at future council meetings. And the thought with the tax is a couple of things. One is you have to get something in the Department of Revenue by October 1 in order for it to be imposed on January 1st. But the thought is, at least in talking with our public safety, is that we don't really know what the impacts are going to be of the legalization here. I think that it's anticipated there will be some, but whatever those are, the city has identified that this is the best way or a sure way to receive a dedicated revenue stream to address whatever those impacts are. That there is also a portion of state funds that are supposed to be offered. It's 8%. We're not sure what it's 8% of, and that has yet to be seen. And so I think that, as opposed to relying upon those funds to be available for whatever resources are needed, that this is a means of ensuring that we've got a dedicated revenue stream for it. This is modeled after our medical regulations, so you've got very similar language. It defines, in this code proposal from the ordinance, it defines what it is, defines each of these uses, provides for separations, and there was a map that was presented, and I've got one here. I don't know exactly where they can capture it on TV, but there's a larger one back behind you here. You already got a spot allocated.
Add microphone.
So not different than what we did with the medical usage. We prepared a map based upon the regulations that are proposed here. To identify, we have red, light gray, and dark gray, and those are B3, M1, and M2. So the use would be limited for those classifications. But there are all sorts of variety of things. Before, when we looked at medical, there was really just a dispensary or there was a cultivation facility. Those are here. There's some additional ones that are in the law that we're attempting to address. I think the most likely that we believe would come to the community would possibly be a dispensary. We do know that the medical dispensaries that are out there have kind of a foothold, or they have kind of first dibs on there. There's a initial allotment that will largely be covered by those medical dispensaries that are already out there. There are additional licensing that's going to come out in later years, and I apologize, I don't have the specific numbers. I know that that's been something that the council's looked very closely at, but I don't know that we anticipate a huge influx, but there are some components in here that speak to limiting the number out of the gate so that we're not flooded and inundated with 20 of these that we're talking about, 3 for the dispensaries. It's probably not likely that we'd see a cultivation facility. Those require much more sizable facilities, and we know that there's already one locally in the area that's poised to expand, the one down in Delavan. So I think I kind of covered what I wanted to get through, but the map is here to kind of give you some idea of potential placement as far as where there's appropriate zoning. But I wanted to give a little context and then certainly open the door for any questions from the board or from the public.
Okay, Belinda?
No, I don't have any questions at all.
Mr. Zosky?
No more questions.
Norm?
I don't have any questions, but I strongly oppose recreational marijuana, and I strongly oppose the city of East Peoria going forward with our corrupt governor and making it more available, the next generation looks to us for moral leadership, and they're certainly not getting it. So I don't have any questions, but I do want to just state my opposition. And if you can give me one redeeming social value that we're doing this, I'd say okay, but you can't. We're only doing it for the money. And if we took care of our money, instead of giving it away to a millionaire, we wouldn't have a money problem. So, you know, again, I'm strongly against it.
Dino?
I'm okay.
I'm against marijuana usage also and sales and whatever, but this is, I mean, it's coming whether we like it or not. This is just how we control it. So I don't disagree with you at all, but when it comes to this, I
It's
have
coming whether we like it or not, but we don't have to be a party and we don't have
That's
to allow
right.
it to sell.
I agree.
Just like Morton did.
Yep, I agree, but
And then the other thing that concerns me, what happens if Washington, Eureka, Metamora, if they all don't allow it to be sold in their cities, then you're going to have the drug people all trickling down to East Peoria to get their
Yep.
daily high.
we have to hope it doesn't happen that way. But I have no questions.
Thank you. Ready for a,
Yep, just doing a roll
Vote?
call vote.
yeah. Roll call vote. Jim Weber,
Yes.
Dino Ori,
Yes.
Norm Sales,
No.
Ed Zosky, Belinda Young, Mike Kelly.
Yes.
You don't have a finding of fact, but we'll put that in the minutes.
Okay. Okay. Any old business that we need to talk about? Anybody got anything? Ty, anything new that you need to talk? Whoops, sorry.
Other than the attachment that I'm assuming most everybody read.
Yep, everybody
with the
got that?
Variances.
I'm
and
assuming everybody did.
to help,
That's good information, thank you.
Yes.
I hope that it's helpful. From time to time, the APA, the American Planning Association, will put on local training for zoning and planning officials. We've not had one for a while, so that's something I'll take a look at and see. Certainly this board has transitioned. We have a lot of new faces on the board, and certainly it's never a bad idea even to have a refresher course. So I'll check in with those folks and see what kind of opportunities are available to bring that training to East Peoria.
Okay. All right, you got anything new for us?
New business, maybe, just a comment. The U-Haul that we approved 2 months ago for 10
Yeah,
10 things. I was just stopped there tonight. They only had 16 in there tonight.
yeah,
I stopped in there 10 days ago and counted 24.
Yeah.
It's a little bit over 10. I don't know.
can't see the building for the U-Hauls.
And also, there's other cars parked there and they're working in the building. So,
Yeah.
I don't know what you can enforce there, but.
He hasn't
they're
gone along.
definitely
He hasn't gone along with
fine
anything that
what
we
We
require.
agreed to do it for.
Right, and there should be, they have to go with what we asked.
Yes.
Ty and I talked
mean,
about that
it's-
today.
And so
Yeah.
I've been working with the city attorney's office. This was something that I was ready to present to this board for a revocation of the special use. And the advisement was to send them a letter. This is so that both the owner and the petitioner were sent certified letters. The petitioner came in last Friday, indicates that they are going to address these issues. They weren't sure if they were staying there. I'm not clear about what the relationship was, but somehow that's been addressed, and that he is going to address the issues of the landscaping, the striping, and keeping under. He said his manager had a great amount of success with the U-Hauls, and I said, that's fine, but your limit is 10. And I think those that have seen it and gone by there agree that 10 is probably pushing it. You know,
Yeah.
the previous operator that was there had a maximum of 3. So you get more than 10 on that lot, and it really
Yeah.
gets pretty cluttered.
Especially if they're 10 big trucks.
Yeah.
Did they take over the Washington operations? I noticed there's no more trailers for rent up in Washington, and they're all moved down here.
That's probably it. I mean, and the indication was there was a very heavy push for vehicles or what have you, and my guess is it's somewhat cyclical, but I made it very clear to him that he's limited to 10, and he's not even adhering to it at the moment, so
Yeah.
my guess is we may deal with this issue
They
down the road.
approached me too. They approached me to put. the
Turn your mic
site-
on.
They approached me to put
okay.
the site at my storage complex in Washington. And then, and I haven't decided to do that yet, but then he told me, I know the manager that manages all the U-Hauls in the area. He came to me and I talked to him about, and he said he got those people to agree down the street in East Peoria, one you're talking about. And, and he can actually adjust how many they can have or not, the manager of the whole area. But I guess,
We have an agreement with them, though, so they need to honor their agreement.
yeah, they need iron, okay, yeah, they need iron.
I too have noticed an overabundance of the vehicles there, and I wondered the same thing, why they weren't complying, but then I have not seen hardly any U-Haul trucks up in Sunnyland just past the pizza place where there was, so I wondered if
They canceled it.
they pulled them all
Yeah,
out of.
the people that owned it, see, new people bought it.
Oh,
New people,
Where
see,
they-
the guy was only leasing it.
that
And
space
the new
up there.
person that bought the storage units there
Yes.
decided they didn't want it.
So
She
that's
didn't
why
want it,
they
it was a pain,
moved around
in the
there.
butt more than it was doing her any good, because she just owned the property and just got rent, a small amount of rent. So that's
Okay,
what
so, but it has been addressed.
Kicked
You've
her
sent the
out.
letter, right?
Yeah,
She
they're also.
kicked them out.
Yes, and the owner was in on
neighbor's
Friday.
property, they're not even all on their own
So
property.
that's the story on that. And then-
There were two that were over in front of the motorcycle shop today.
Yeah,
that I
there
saw.
were 3 there earlier.
Yeah, the same owner of the property, different tenant.
Yeah.
They're aware that we're concerned about what's going on, and that, so the next step is we'll bring it back to this group to revoke it if they don't comply.
I think we would all be in favor of that if it doesn't
Yeah, we're all.
change quickly.
Yes.
It's too visible of a location to
Yeah.
have that kind of activity.
Okay. Any other questions, or can we have a motion to
Motion to
adjourn?
adjourn.
I can second that.
Looks like everybody wants to second that one, Ty. You just pick.
Aye.
I'd like to make one suggestion.